welcome to Labor Lenta. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on the May Day celebration, what it entails, and workers' expectation in Nigeria. We also have new stories for you. We will be right back.
It's another May Day and the Eagle Square hosts workers in the nation's capital. The average worker in the country faces a number of challenges, including economic and insecurity. But in the midst of these challenges, workers believe they have every reason to celebrate their day. President! Nigeria's leading labor centers take the lead in drawing government's attention to the many troubles they say hinder the joy of the workers. From the economy, energy sector, tax bills and electoral reforms, labor calls on workers to remain vigilant and resolute in their demand for accountability.
Labor must shape policy, reject elite enrichment at the masses' expense, fight stagnant wages amid soaring costs.
A list of labor's demands includes an immediate salary adjustment in line with economic realities.
Let us organize in every factory, every market, every village. Let us build a movement that shakes the foundation. Let us be the generation that takes back the nation.
President Bola Tinubu is all ears to the demands and assures workers that his administration will always protect rights of workers to organize, advocate, and partake in decision-making process.
This administration stands ready to collaborate with the labor unions, the organized and informal private sector, the civil society organizations, to create policies and programs that safeguard the rights and livelihoods of workers.
The Workers' Day is an ample opportunity for the National Automotive Design and Development Council to showcase its CNG and electric-powered cars that will ease workers' transportation costs.
What we are seeing on ground here are CNG vehicles that are locally made in Nigeria. And we are happy to display them today, being Workers' Day, because very, very important to workers, talking about how we can reduce the cost of transportation in Nigeria.
The theme for the 2025 celebration is reclaiming the civic space in the midst of economic hardship.
International Workers' Day, also known as May Day, is an annual celebration dedicated to honoring the labor movement and its achievements. In Nigeria, Labor Day is observed every year on May 1st. The day is marked by rallies in designated locations across the country where workers advocate for improved working conditions. In a bid to understand how Nigerians in platform jobs are coping with welfare issues, I booked the right to engage with an e-hailing driver.
Good afternoon. I ordered for a ride, but my name is Sharon and I'm actually a journalist. As an e-driver, I'm concerned about what your well-being is. Do you mind sharing with me? Of course. Okay, so I will just come in and talk to you.
Wasiu Ismail, a young platform worker, shared his experience with me. He expressed concerns about his future, pointing out that the structure of platform work offers no social security safety net.
I will confirm to you that other than maybe some that are unfortunate to, get themselves into an accident and are badly affected, so many drivers are battling stress-related illness. And this is what this is what they have been subjected to by the design of the operation, because if you do not overwork, you cannot make something for yourself. No insurance from Uber, no insurance from Bolt, no insurance from InDrive. Those are the three leading apps which I work with. Zero insurance from them. The only insurance they claim they give is on-trip insurance, which is if you are affected, maybe you have an accident or something, they take care. And me, I have not seen anybody that benefits from that insurance. And moreover, you claim you are giving people insurance. Logically, when I run into an accident, if I am badly affected, that maybe I would not be able to. If I'm robbed, for instance, now my phone is gone. There's no way I can. If I run into an accident, there's no way I can, access you to do the needful at that time that is required.
Later, I met with the Lagos State Chairman of the Amalgamated Union of App-Based Transporters of Nigeria. He explained that, like other forms of platform work, it comes with unique challenges. Though flexible, the ambiguous nature of their employment status often leads to misclassification, identifying them as independent contractors rather than employees. This limits their access to essential labor rights and social protection.
There is no insurance, there is no pension. If your car got spoiled today with that ridiculous price, nowhere to get loans to fix your vehicle. So our members are going through a lot. We are the owner of the business. We are supposed to be part of the pricing mechanism. They just do everything, throw it onto us. They don't want to sit with us. They don't want to, negotiate with us. And we decide that we are shutting down for 24 hours. In fact, on May Day, there's not going to be any hailing service in the country. We are asking this app company to profile their rider so that criminal elements will not go on your app, form as if they are drivers like us and they are criminal.
I'm really concerned about the job security when it comes to online, and I wish there is like a body, there's like a regulation that can maybe look into it and maybe just make sure that online workers also have job securities, just like the normal 9-to-5 guys. But I don't think the government have us in mind. So basically, maybe one day the labor law will look at us, pity us. Organizations under the labor law will look at us, pity us, and say, okay, let's help these people. Let's create a structure for them so that at least they enjoy what most 9-to-5 workers enjoy.
What government needs to do is to enable patent of ideas so that people can actually benefit from the ideas that come from them. Also create an enabling environment for innovation of people to come up and create more areas within, more opportunities within what is going on now. Employers need to continue to train and retrain and equip workers to take advantage of the new trend to be able to produce more and improve the productivity level of the employers. While for us as workers, we need to be ready to take up new skills, new knowledge, new capacity to be able to fit in. Even in cases that you know that you need a new skills that is coming up and your employer is not ready to train you, there is nothing wrong with an employee going out there, getting yourself trained.
In an exclusive interview, the Director General of NECA emphasized the urgent need for upskilling to bridge the skills gap created by the evolving nature of work.
Why the reality is scary, NECA is not sitting down and throwing our hands in the air to say, look, where do we go from here? And one of the things we have done earlier this week, we started in Lagos and in Abuja our first introduction to artificial intelligence course. It's a free course for Nigerians. It's currently running in NECA ICT Academy at NECA, our head office in Lagos, and also running concurrently in our office in Abuja.
As the world of work transitions into hybrid and platform-based models, many who earn a living through digital platforms hope that key stakeholders will ensure that decent work becomes the standard.
We are Nigerians, no matter where you come from, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your tribe, we know that things are generally difficult and very, very harsh for the common person. Even to eat is becoming something so difficult. So what we need to do is to continue to dialogue, continue to begin to talk with government, talk with employers, and begin to engage them in realistic terms, in terms of trying to get back our voice in the society, trying to do what will benefit the workers, what will improve on their rights and privileges. By so doing, we are reclaiming the civic space.
It's a yearly ritual that we always observe, that the workers deserve their rights at the right time. You can hear from the president of NLC all what he rolled out about the attitude of the government, not listening to the yearning of the workers. So to me, I believe
The 70,000 minimum wage now cannot even take care of what is going on in this country today. But with resilience that we find ourselves, the workers have contributed their quotas. But what we are saying is that let there be an improvement in the working environment.
Naturally, it's very strategic for all workers in the world. And for us in Nigeria and in SANU in particular, is a day for sober reflection. We look at the gains made and also some of the challenges that are still, staring us on our faces, from unfulfilled promises from government to the challenges of funding in our universities. So today we have come here and you can see that the faces of most Nigerian workers looks very gloomy. Gloomy in the sense that the economy is biting hard and they are finding it very difficult to survive, in the country. So, but the resolution is that we must keep our faith on and we must make sure that we are not dampened and we must make sure that we live up to expectation of our colleagues, having taken the saddle of leadership to lead them as servant leaders. So we have come before government, we have presented our position, we have shown the world that this is what it means to work in Nigeria. Insecurity, bad infrastructure, poor road network, a lot of other challenges. But to be very, very specific, education needs to be given priority.
Can you bring us up to speed on why this is expedient at this point in time?
When we went for negotiation, we had in mind that we are going to get clearly a negotiated agreement based on cost of living. We met a government team that was not prepared on anything. It is 70,000 you want to pay. How much is transport? How much is basic? How much is housing? We tabulated them. We even tabulated the cost of cooking gas, the cost of bag of rice. We went, and the people from government side didn't have a response to it. So it's like, oh, take this. And where we were then, it was biting seriously. We wanted to benchmark it with inflation. But if inflation goes at this rate, let it be self-adjusted. They still refuse. So it's like, after a national strike, after a lot of protests, and after even an agreement with the president that it was, if we take 70,000, they were not going to continue to increase pump price of petroleum products, which they reneged. That we reluctantly took this 70,000. Now that the 70,000 is nowhere, and even the former wage award they were given as a relief, they have stopped it. You can see that we have every right to ask for cost of living allowance to mitigate whatever we are getting now. And those are some of the things we are going to raise. Because if you watch the whole lot of money they have made from the so-called removal of subsidy, and a lot of money which the president has equally acknowledged now goes to the governors. And the governors seem not to be doing anything. In some states, they are not faring well in terms of payment of wages. So we have every reason to demand for some wage awards or some reliefs. This has happened before, where even if you go to offices and whatever, people, they come up with food stuff, come up with rice to give to people for them to survive. So it is not a matter of right or wrong. The economy is extremely bad and is hurting.
2025 May Day celebration, comparing it with the previous May Day celebration, this particular year, we didn't experience May Day celebration in two states, that is Rivers State and Edo State. Why did the Congress decide to take this action? And would there be other further directive moving forward?
Well, the issue of Rivers State should be well understood by anybody. For us to give the sole administrator there an incentive of workers marching through and he's standing there, It's an indirect endorsement of what happened in Rivers State. Of course, it is equally an interim measure, even from a suspension for 6 months or whatever. That does not legitimize the person occupying that seat, clearly. So, and if we give that endorsement inadvertently, we may be encouraging it in other states. So we have to do it clear. But it has created some motives. By yesterday, the government there, maybe government officials, sent for the NLC in the state. All that they stopped, all the colleges of education, they are not paying, signed agreement. The pensioners, they are not paying, they signed agreement, they signed everything. And then the gratuity, they are not paying, they signed agreement. So let them pay, and then know that these are not people that are cheap. It's not, oh, come to the stadium, come to the stadium. And I think we'll resolve that. To that extent, it should make sense to them that if it happens any other place, because the trade union movement happen to be the people at the vanguard of the fight for this democracy. I can tell you that during the military period, I was sent behind bars and all that. So if after, it is true that we didn't take over government as those that fought for it, we will not be seen to be taking action that will encourage, imposition of military people or people that are not democratically elected. So that's the point as far as the Rivers State is concerned. That of Edo is unfortunate that Edo is going this way. Edo used to be a state that we normally use as example, positive example. The Edo state government were accusing our chairman in Edo that he was too close to Obaseki and was too partisan. They even said that if PDP doesn't win, that heads will roll in Edo. Now, the same Edo state government now started patronizing an auditor. The same offense they were accusing the chairman of. They now started encouraging an auditor to serve as an imposter that is now the chairman of NLC in Edo. We looked at this issue and we made it clear that we don't know this imposter. This is our chairman. But even if you have a complaint about our chairman, you do us a memo that your chairman did this, did that. We set a committee for him and try him based on the rules of NLC and sanction him if he's found guilty. And that was our position until the Minister of Labor intervened and said he wanted to apprehend him. We said with all pleasure. He arranged for us to go to Edo, and I was represented by one of my deputies. And they went and met with the governor, who sounded very well, and promised that he will reach out to me so that we can solve this problem. I waited for him almost 2-3 months. I didn't hear from him. I took his number. I called, he was not picking. And for the guys that he was using as imposters, even their unions gave them directive that nobody should go there. So I want to find out, because the guy that was from Amalgamated, the union wrote there that nobody should go to the stadium. And that's the union controlling him. The other person that was signing as acting secretary, NSC doesn't have acting secretary anywhere. We have paid secretaries. It's from is it secretariat or whatever, The union wrote that nobody should go to the stadium there. So that's the situation. If the governor went there to take parade, I don't know the big deal if the workers say they are doing it in their separate offices. It shouldn't be an issue, and that's our position. Until we resolve the issue there, even if the chairman is incapacitated, our rule doesn't allow an auditor to come up to say he's our chairman. We have a clear rule on how things should be done. So you can't be accusing the previous government there, that they were close to one person, and then you now adopted another person to be close to you, and then commit the same offense. So our leadership there is best known to us, and as of today, we are waiting for a formal complaint. And within 48 hours from here, we are going to set up a panel to investigate whatever might have transpired there, but not this way. Never. Because the labor issues in Edo, we have to resolve it in terms of minimum wage. They have not signed any agreement on even the issue of consequential adjustment. Since he's doing this, we are going to, in the next few weeks, we are going to write him so that he will address the real labor issues.
During the May Day celebration, there was a call for a wage review. Can you tell us why it's expedient for us to have a wage review at this point in time?
There was the Pension Reform Act, which, reformed pension to make it contributory. The Reform Act did not even remove pension. And some ignorant people now said the Pension Reform Act now has removed gratuity. Ignorant in the sense that pension is different from gratuity. And it wasn't a gratuity reform act. And because of that, some of them stopped paying gratuity. And some of our colleagues in the public sector have not done too well by not following them up. From the sector I came from, the electricity, as nobody will enter into an agreement with or write a condition of service without insisting on gratuity. Gratuity is all about being gratuitous. And that's the only lump sum you pay to a worker when he's leaving office, to say thank you. I had an uncle that worked in the then USC, whatever, and they finished, even in the 50s and 40s. Some of them, they gave them this golden wristwatch, as thank you measures, whatever. So that exit token, by whatever name or gratuity, has not been removed. So, and it will be mischievous for even government, who are equally regulators in the circle, to now stop it. I will not say abolish, because nobody has abolished it. So we are trying to renew the call from all the sectors, for them to demand for this. Because we are living after work, we are just going home. You don't have anything to go home. You don't even have anything to eat. You now go to a PFA. The PFA will say they are processing your document, and that's the end. It doesn't happen. In those days, when you pay them that money, some will even buy keke. Some will be managing their life until they start receiving pension. So we insist on it until that is restored, and that's the best way to go. So these are issues we need to look at once more and see how it will affect us, because that period of transition from defined pension policy to contributory pension, there was a lot of loophole which we needed to fill. Coming from the power sector then, we had a superannuation fund, and we insisted that whatever was the quantum of it, because we were doing 25%, should be transferred, and then before we start current contribution.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.